Hello and welcome to Cyberman Son, episode 11. We are here at the Cyber Control Center. I am Steven.
And I'm Andrew.
Andrew, would you believe this is it? This is the last episode with the Cybermen in the classic run of Doctor Who.
And next is the 10th Doctor.
Well, yeah, but let's not get too ahead of ourselves here. It's been a crazy run so far, but I guess we'll kind of talk a bit about that near the end of it. So what story are we doing now, Andrew?
We are doing the Silver Nemesis.
Silver Nemesis with the 7th Doctor, Sylvester McCoy. So here's something you should know about Silver Nemesis and about the 7th Doctor. Andrew Cartmel was now the script supervisor, and he had this thing called the Cartmel Master Plan. Or maybe people just refer to it as the Cartmel Master Plan. And that was trying to figure out, asking the question, Doctor Who? Who is the Doctor? What is the Doctor really? What's his backstory? And he was weaving in several plots that would show up, that start in like episodes like this and then show up many stories later. One of the chief ones being the Curse of Fenric. Fenric being a super-dimensional evil entity who sowed dissent through all of time. And some of the stuff that happens in Curse of Fenric is hinted at here. And it starts here. But today we are just looking at the story Silver Nemesis. Are you ready for this?
Yes.
Let's do it.
Oh, whoa. What's this intro? I mean, I've seen it from all the Doctor intros, but it's Spore Daddy! Daddy, look, it's the galaxy for 4, and no, there are meteors.
It's an entirely new take on the starting sequence. Actually, I'm kind of fond of it. It's pretty dated, but I'm kind of fond of it.
Oh, it looks like the TARDIS is going to Spore. It's a dangerous world! Yeah. They still have that? The faces?
Mm-hmm. Actually, when the 9th Doctor started, I was sad they didn't have the face.
What is that Doctor? What?
Yes, it's dated. It is dated, but, you know, I like it.
The 7th Doctor was crazy then. South America, 1988.
1988. There's our,
Oh.
There we go.
Alright.
And
1638. A pigeon hunting. Wait, were pigeons like that in 1638?
Sure.
But
Let's figure out what's going on now.
I give you the 4th one.
The aircraft is ready.
We leave at once.
what's with all these bows and birds?
Well, I guess we'll find out. Something inside the desk.
Nemesis
Looks like a
will
statue.
circle the heavens once every 25 years.
Yes.
Its trajectory, however, is decaying.
Danger Kitty knows
This
Why not it land?
Hi, Kitty.
it will circle ever closer until finally it once again strikes the Earth at the point from which it originally departed, in the meadow outside.
When?
Well, yes, of course, well, on the 23rd day of November, in the year of our Lord, 1988.
That's 300 years from now.
350.
It's a reminder.
Go on then.
Scottish?
Well, obviously,
He is
it's a
Scottish.
precise moment to remind us to change course for another destination.
What's that?
I've forgotten. Oh, we'll have to go back and find out.
Oh, Professor.
Professor?
Yeah, she calls him Professor.
Is that a doctor?
She calls him Doctor sometimes, but she likes to call him Professor.
Things flying about like birds.
Bring the cups of potion. We leave at once.
The final ingredient, my lady. Human blood.
Why? I can change the world.
It means that some planet somewhere faces imminent destruction. Why? That looks familiar. Earth.
Afraid?
Yes, my lady.
When I employed you, you led me to believe you were a hardened criminal.
As my lady knows, before I entered your service, I was found guilty of a large number of offences.
Then have the courage of your convictions. Drink. Drink.
What is that?
It's a potion of some kind that's... Well, let's see what it does.
What is happening, my lady?
Causes seizures.
Leaving, Richard. Destiny beckons.
Oh. Just let him travel through time.
To the back of time.
What's in the cushion?
Please, my lady! I must stay!
She made this statue from a silver metal that fell out of the sky into that measure.
She made a statue. Uh-oh. Look at this. He's seeing a chessboard.
This game's going rather badly.
What about chessboards, huh?
We'll talk about that.
Don't worry. There's no one here now. Apart from our late
Do you hate
friend.
chess?
Lady Peinforte's around, all right, in Windsor. 350 years in the future.
Chess is fun.
So Lady Peinforte, she saw this meteor, the Nemesis, with a metal come down, and she made a statue out of the metal. Not realizing at first what's the statue and what the metal really was.
Oh, this cannot be.
Why so upset, my lady?
Because, fool, they will protect the Nemesis, and we know not their strengthened weapons.
But, my lady, they know not what the comet is.
I don't understand why the police have already been overcome.
That is of no importance. All that matters is the Nemesis is safe.
So the bow is being combined with
Your
the
strength returns.
asteroid to trigger the Nemesis.
You'll be completely restored. But where's the arrow? The arrow!
Missing a piece though.
Where is it?
That's the arrow.
Then we will shoot her.
Uh-oh.
Wait.
They saved my life.
Don't thank them yet. You might live to regret it.
Uh-oh.
What are they?
Cybermen.
Quickly, grab one of their weapons and go ham. That will work. Okay, if this is the 80s, then why do they look like that?
So, you know, Andrew, I don't know if you noticed, but Lady Peinforte, when she was making her time travel soup, she didn't actually say what was going in except for the human blood, right?
Yeah.
Now, I don't know about you, but the recipe for time travel soup I think would be really cool to have, right? So I thought, let's experiment and let's make our own time travel soup right now. So first things first, I think I'm going to need ground up sand from one of those hourglasses. Could you pass me the sand from the hourglass? Thank you. Okay, great. And then I think we'll get the ashes of someone who was burned at the stake. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense too. Okay, great. Now how about we get a little extract of motor oil from a Ford Model T? Yeah, right on. Not a lot of this left, folks. Okay, great. How about some amaretto? Just for amaretto, just for seasoning there, because why not, right? Okay, great. How about some oil just to kind of wash it down, like some regular cooking oil here, right? I mean, because it has to be palatable, right? Next, let's get some Dalekinium. Daleks can take, emergency temporal shift. Let's get some of that in there. Come on.
Dalek unit re-initializing.
All right, that's enough. All right. How about let's get some essence of clock. That makes the most sense. Essence of clock. All right, and finally, Back to the Future Part 2. I think we'll do the trick. Back to the Future Part 2. If you can pass that off to me as well. Okay. All right. Cross our fingers. Here we go. Okay. All right. All right. Oh, almost forgot human blood. You wanna throw in as well? No? Okay. Alright. No. Oh. Alright. You ready?
Yep.
Okay. Alright, you get the first sip. Okay. And now I get the first sip. Now I get the second sip. Alright, now we see if something happens. Oh, I can feel it. Can you feel it? I feel it. I feel it. Andrew? Hello? Maybe I should make more of that soup. And we'll watch the next episode in the meantime.
What are they?
Cybermen.
No, you can't shoot him! Oh! You can.
Yeah, not well. It bounces off them. They're like, whoa, what the heck? But, yeah.
It's like a...
Yeah.
They're like, oh my gosh, humans
This
are
is
more
not gonna
advanced.
go well. This is not gonna go well.
If it actually appears like, oh, that container there, you see there? If they shoot there, then they're dead.
Maybe.
Aim for the can! Aim for the eyes, because there's no, like, thing there, so...
Maybe.
Doctor, we can't stay here.
Certainly can. That's exactly the sort of that happened last time. Only then, the roundheads. Lady Peinforte.
Make sure one of them dropped their weapon.
A hit. A very palpable hit.
It, like, pierced him. What did that?
She's a sorceress. So she's done something to those arrows.
Quickly, run and grab the weapon.
They don't know that, though.
Grab it anyway.
The TARDIS is around. After they eliminate these guys, they're probably going to see it.
We found the TARDIS. You like, here's how the Cybermen see it. Oh, this didn't hurt.
Yeah.
Yes, of course. The head's made of gold.
That's real gold.
Yes, the only substance to which they're vulnerable.
Then why did it blow up instead of go, oh? Like, seriously?
Peinforte's calling card.
Gosh, they must be even more
I
than
really think we should be getting out of here, Doctor.
I really think you're right.
My lady.
Wait,
who
if
is
there's a
that?
Cyberman dead right beside you, grab its weapon.
The Doctor's not going to use the gun, though. Right now.
He used it.
I know.
He went like, like seriously?
No!
Gold is too flimsy. Pure gold is too flimsy.
It is.
Reinforcement.
Yes. But if we could only jam their signal. Have you got a tape?
Yeah. You mean this thing transmits?
Of course it does. I built it.
Commence transmission. Leader, I must repeat the objection to the transmission of
Death is BBT adore.
Our Cyberforce does not yet hold all
Death is
key units of the Legion. You are outside your function.
Are we having fun?
Yeah.
He's jamming their signal.
Interference. Origin under.
Oh my goodness.
Open the monitor tab.
Right?
Now our plan begins to operate.
See, look at those
You
sausage
find that the
fingers.
crypt has
What are
weathered
those?
the age.
Space
The
hands.
fact of her death
Oh god.
will drive her
Space hands with
insane.
the extra fingers.
This is your tomb.
Rather fine, is it not?
But she's armed with the most primitive toys.
You insult us.
Of course not. Whatever your unfortunate vulnerability doesn't affect us. We can remove her for you.
We accept. Destroy the
But
woman
they have the strength of
and her servant.
Birdie
Yeah, but they don't want to get
Divide
close to the gold
planet into your slave
because there's only a
groups
few of them.
And ours.
Good.
But remember,
Cybermen say they have the strength of 10 men, they have a strength of like 150.
we are
Seriously,
invisible.
just by doing this, boom, 10 men together can't do that. Nope.
Come.
Doing
They
this.
don't want to get close to the gold because they have no reinforcements. So they're probably just gonna betray him anyways. Yeah. I bet you.
Once they have the arrow and the
I can
statues,
see his
Listen.
mouth.
destroy them.
Yeah, you see, they're just gonna betray him anyways. So they're just gonna.
After he gets it out,
After you.
destroy him. They gave you the stuff!
Yeah.
Yeah, no importance. We have the statue, the arrow, and the bow.
And the Cybermen?
Trolls overcomes them. We have no such weakness.
Little whisper.
Of course. It's so simple.
What?
They're shrouded.
It's just like
Camouflaged.
Shrouded. They'll show up.
Oh.
Try and force them into revealing themselves. Treble. Bass. Please let me be right. I'm listening. Balance.
Oh, there they are. Cyber Fleet.
What are they?
Cyber warships. Thousands of them. They were invisible.
Now I can play my tape.
I'm afraid not.
Why not? It's my tape deck. You built it for me.
Yes, I know I built it for you. To replace the one that was destroyed by the Daleks, but...
So, it's my tape deck and I want to play this.
This is more than just a tape deck. And besides, there's more to worry about than listening to your tape.
Yeah.
That looks familiar.
Hey Andrew, so when do you want to get together and watch that new Doctor Who episode?
Next fall.
Next fall?
This fall.
This upcoming fall? It's going to be that long? Yeah, that's a bit of a pain. I really hope that's worth it. Hey, do you hear that?
Tape?
Do you hear that? No, Andrew? Andrew, hello? Hello?
Adversary. Do you imagine you simply walk in here and hand it over?
Good afternoon.
Doctor.
Yes, here we are. I'm sorry we couldn't have been here earlier, but we're held up on the way. I don't believe you've met my friend Ace.
Give me the ball.
Cyber leader Loose Bomb to discover check.
Ace replies by neatly castling with the bow.
Give me the ball.
Doctor, en passant behind Cyber leader.
Really? He's getting tricked by...
Combination gambit.
Take the ball from him.
Middle game development.
He's acting like a child. The boat.
End game. Illegal move, but checkmate. Seems to be in order.
He just statue.
The TARDIS.
No statue.
Now it's awake, it'll follow the
Wonder
bow.
To the Nemesis will kill them.
Maybe.
I am beautiful, am I not?
Oh, I've heard
Yes.
of this legend.
You're very beautiful.
It is only my present form. I have had others which would horrify you.
I've heard of this legend.
I shall have
The
both
split
again.
mouth girl.
You are surprised, I speak.
I know you're living
Takes
metal.
off her makeup.
I am whatever I
Say
am
yes,
meant
you're
to
doing it
be.
anyway.
This time Lady Peinforte called me Nemesis. So I am retribution.
How did he get up there? He's thinking, oh, a simple pebble will hit. Oh, either she has incredible strength, or those are just really hard points. Or they just really make people mad.
Yeah.
Sounds like plastic. Ooh, that'll do it. Even though it's not in the chest plate, it'll hurt way too much.
Detect only one more piece of gold.
Correct.
He's alive?
So who'll be next?
Probably in pain. Kill the controller! Oh, there goes the controller.
Whoops!
Ooh, that cyber weapons are... That fall itself will kill him.
I wouldn't kill Cyberman. The fall.
Did you see how his body bended like a mannequin at the
Yeah,
end?
but it had been shots.
Rockets are locked in. Right on course.
And I am to destroy the entire cyber fleet.
Cyber race.
And then
Slowly fall.
you will need me in the future then.
No, not.
That is what you said before.
Enough.
And after this, will I have my freedom?
Not yet.
When?
Tell me when.
Do you think it's strong enough to
Things are
have
still
power?
imperfect.
It's finally mine.
Yeah.
Oh, there he goes.
That was a butt.
I'm sorry, Doctor. I thought I got him.
Give me the bow, or I will kill her.
He's standing up fine.
All things, all power, time, space, the world.
She is mad.
Speak not of my lady so.
Doctor Who. Have you never wondered where he came from? Who he is?
Nobody knows who the Doctor is.
Except me.
Tell us then.
How?
The statue told me.
All right. So what does it matter? He's a Time Lord, I know that.
Well, Doctor,
If I give you the bow,
your power becomes mine, but your secrets remain your own.
it's all over, Ace.
How does he want to keep secret?
My battle. All my battle.
Maybe he has a really embarrassing name.
I've lost. I can only surrender.
Yes.
But not to you. The Cybermen will have the Nemesis.
This is most rational, Doctor.
But I know your secrets.
Very well, tell them.
I shall tell them of Gallifrey. Tell them of the old time. The time of chaos.
Be my guest.
Your secrets.
The secrets of the Time Lords mean nothing to us.
Exactly.
Cybermen don't care about them.
Thank you
He just wants
for coming to the 20th century and giving me assistance.
So what if there's new ones?
It's a cyber army.
Mondassi and Cyberman Son. She is crazy. What's she doing? What?
She jumped in for some reason. But it looks like the Nemesis ate her.
you think a Nemesis could damage a Dalek?
Possibly. We'll talk about that.
So I want to know how strong does it work.
Boom!
This is impossible. You gave my instructions to the statue.
Yes, I gave your instructions to the Nemesis, and it understood them. And disobeyed them. And destroyed the cyber fleet.
Then you will join them.
Worth it.
That's what I was saying. Give him a few more steps. This guy's tough.
Doctor?
Who are you?
That's a loud shoot.
Okay, so that was Silver Nemesis. So let's start. Andrew, what did you think of Silver Nemesis?
Pretty interesting.
Pretty interesting? What did you like about it?
The fact that the Doctor put on jazz to intro and the Cyberman just pressed a button. Did you just hear the jazz?
Yeah, I know. It made a lot of sense that, you know, if there's an attacking army, that there's a priority to try to, like, jam the signal for reinforcements. That was actually a smart move that the writers addressed fairly early. If there's an invading army, what's stopping them from getting back up? Because, I mean, if they called, hey, Cybermen are like, hey, can I get, like, 15 more ships? They said there were thousands of ships up there. Can I get, like, 1,500 more ships to come down and help us out? I mean, that would have been a huge plot hole. But no, they established fairly early on that the Doctor and Ace jammed the signal. There was no communication. No?
I do have a question. Can the Nemesis defeat a Dalek?
Yeah, you know, okay, so this is the thing.
Because they're
when the story
strong, right?
when the story was first made in '88, all you knew was that the Time Lords just had these weapons occasionally and stuff. But when the series relaunched in 2005, Russell T Davies said that Genesis of the Daleks with the Fourth Doctor was one of the early skirmishes in the Time War. So I think that Silver Nemesis Validium was developed to be used against Daleks. I think so. Or at the very least had the capability to defeat Daleks. I think so as well. We know that the Doctor stole the Validium from Gallifrey, and it's probably because he didn't think that they could be trusted with it. And this is not the only time he steals weapons from Gallifrey. There's another one called the Hand of Omega, which he took and left on Earth. He likes to hide weapons on Earth for some reason, which is mind-boggling. But the Hand of Omega was then used in Remembrance of the Daleks, another Seventh Doctor story, and was an extremely powerful weapon. And same with the Validium, and same with the Moment. Remember the Moment?
No.
The Moment is with the Doctor Who special with the War Doctor when the 10th and the 11th teamed up.
Oh, yeah.
The Moment was the name of the weapon that the Doctor ultimately used to destroy Gallifrey and the Time Lords and the Daleks, destroy everything. So anyways, Time Lord weapons are devious and are incredibly destructive, and the Doctor obviously felt that this wasn't a weapon that could be trusted in the hands of the Time Lords, and so he went to Earth to try to hide it, but then Lady Peinforte, I don't know, Lady Peinforte, she made a statue with a bow and an arrow, and the Doctor's like, okay, this is no good, and blasted it into orbit, but the orbit only lasted 350 years before it crashed back down into Earth. Now the thing is, she calls him a little man, and there's a theory.
Isn't he tall?
He's not tall. The Seventh Doctor isn't tall. There's a popular theory that the Second Doctor met her. That originally the Second Doctor had it on board his TARDIS, because the First Doctor had the Hand of Omega, and then we could say that he also had the Validium.
He would have been really young then.
No, not really, because if he'd only been there a few years prior. Remember, he's traveling through time. First off, those cyber goons. Remember the guys who were shooting at them in the very first episode?
Yeah.
And, yeah, when did the Cybermen partially convert them? how did the Cybermen like know the Doctor was going to be listening to like a jazz piece? That one was really shaky. Just these guys show up, these partially converted Cybermen show up and start shooting them, and then
mostly converted.
Yeah,
their heads.
That was very bizarre. But the Doctor seems to attract trouble. He always has, right? What did you think of? Let's talk about costumes. What did you think about the Doctor's costume? Okay, yeah, it looks kind of like Mario.
Mario?
With the question marks, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of looks a bit like that. Sure. But I've always really liked the hat, and later on in the series he gets like a darker jacket. But I've always liked his look. What do you think?
Yeah.
Now, what do you think about the Cybermen's look?
Much different from last time. Because last time they had like red eyes.
But those Cybermen were from pretty far in the future.
Well, yeah, really far.
So Andrew kept asking me as we're watching this, what's with the chessboard? What's with the chessboard? Years and years and years ago, I don't think we're ever given a firm timeline. Again, there was this entity called Fenric, who was ultimately evil. And the Doctor defeated him over a game of chess. And locked him in sort of like it's sort of like a mental prison that he locked him in. Sort of like a logic prison. It's kind of bizarre. But anyways, when the Doctor saw the chessboard, he knew that Lady Peinforte was one of Fenric's wolves. They're called the Fenric's wolves. Fenric, before he vanished, he had put pieces of himself. Think of like Harry Potter and the pieces of Voldemort. Fenric had put pieces of himself in different people, and them and their descendants became his wolves, who would slowly influence time to bring about his return.
So the Doctor was the black, so he always wants to make black win, therefore.
I guess you could say that. These things, I haven't seen that many of the Seventh Doctor stories. I've seen like maybe 4 or 5. But I have seen the Curse of Fenric, so I saw how it resolved. But I didn't see all the pieces leading up to it.
Wait,
yeah.
That's a chess game for an internal soul trap?
Yeah, basically, right? And so whenever he comes across a chess game, it's just like, uh-oh, hold on. This has something to do with Fenric. Fenric is involved somehow. So does this mean, though, that Nemesis now has been destroyed with the Cyber Fleet? Or does it mean that Nemesis is now floating out there in space forever?
Nemesis is strong.
Mm-hmm.
And will do any goal it's asked.
Mm-hmm.
So if it was built for the Daleks, then it can last a big wad of explosions.
Maybe the Time Lords recovered Nemesis and used it in the Time War. Maybe. Okay, the camera work in this, and this is just a technical thing, a production thing. The camera work in this was kind of silly. Remember when they're in the car, and and there's the Hollywood lady, she's in the car, and Lady Peinforte, and the camera is like focused on Lady Peinforte, and the camera's doing this, and it's just like. It was very distracting.
It's right there.
Yeah, it's very distracting, and then just a little later, when Ace is climbing up onto that gantry or whatever, the cameraman's following her, and I'll have the footage up here so you can watch it. The cameraman, if you're watching, he accidentally hits the side so that his camera smooth and then poof, and then keeps going. So I mean, I get they probably didn't want to reshoot it for something simple like that, but stabilizers are a thing, and I know I've shot short films without stabilizers, and it's a nightmare. Forget it. So I get it, but let's get into our timeline, because you brought up a good point. You said it's 1988. It's 2 years after Mondas is destroyed, right? Mm-hmm. Why did the Cybermen look like that?
Yeah,
why do they look like that?
What?
There's a couple theories. So first, let's go all the way to the very, very beginning. The Silver Nemesis, the seeds of it are sowed in 1638. Early 17th century, 1638. Okay. Planet 14 takes place sometime before 1970. Now hold on. Here's the thing about Planet 14. There is a line that Ace says at some point where she says, "Oh, so you lured the cyber forces here to be destroyed entirely." So that seems to imply that this doctor told them at some point about the Nemesis coming to Earth in 1988 as a way to trick them to showing up so he could destroy them and wipe them all out. Now, we never saw that happen. But again, with the Nemesis coming, we know that it seems based on the dialogue that the second Doctor dealt with it. And when did we see when did the second Doctor interact with the Cybermen that we didn't see? Planet 14. So there's a theory going around on the BBC website, check it out, that the Doctor mentioned to the Cybermen on Planet 14 that this is where the Validium was going to come down. Now, if that is the case, they were like, great, let's set course for Earth. We'll be there for 1988 and we'll get it. And in that time, Mondas was destroyed. And they're like, now we definitely... And they are the majority of the cyber fleet now that's left. The majority, not all of them, but the majority that's left now that Mondas is destroyed. And they now want to get... They said explicitly that they want to get the Validium to help get a new Mondas, to help reestablish their presence. So they are the majority of the Cybermen that are left. And because they're so susceptible to gold, like outrageously susceptible to gold, way more susceptible to gold than other instances we've seen them, like Revenge of the Cybermen, they weren't that susceptible to gold. If they were, they would have been annihilated when they landed on Voga.
Yeah.
But they weren't. So that seems to imply to me that they are from an encounter with the second Doctor on Planet 14. Now, Attack of the Cybermen on Earth takes place in 1985. But here's my problem. The problem with the Planet 14 theory is that the Cybermen look too good. They look too new to be old Cybermen, right? They look like they're from the far future. They look like they're from the same time as around Attack of the Cybermen, that sort of timeline. So it's also possible that these Cybermen are also from Attack of the Cybermen. When the Cybermen on Telos were using the time machine and they dropped off Cybermen, for Earthshock to stop the Orion Cyber War, and they dropped off Cybermen in 1985, to stop Mondas from being destroyed. Maybe they also dropped off a ton of Cybermen, like they dropped them off in 1988. That makes sense too. And that's why there's almost no Cybermen left on Telos, because they put all their forces into the Earthshock force, into the Attack of the Cybermen force, and into the Silver Nemesis force. So the problem is, it could be either the Planet 14 or Attack of the Cybermen on Telos. Which one do you think it is? Which one makes sense to you?
Attack of the Cybermen.
Why do you think?
Well, if you see them,
yeah,
it's kind of obvious, don't you think?
Mm-hmm. Based on how they look?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They pretty much look the exact same.
But a little better, actually, even too.
Yeah.
But the problem then is that there's so many of them, and they all, like, gold destroys them so easily.
Yeah.
So that's the problem with that.
Yeah, like, seriously, a gold coin hits right here.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
yeah.
seriously.
That's like how easy they were taken out of the moon base.
Yeah.
That's so easy. So it's either theory, we don't know for sure.
Yeah, in the moon base, they were so easy.
They were so easy. Psst, 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 yeah. Either theory.
They're like cats.
We don't know for sure, and I don't think we're ever going to know. But could be either. Could be both, even too. Maybe the Attack the Cybermen, Telosian Cybermen, dropped off reinforcements for them. I don't know. The Moon Base 2070 Wheel in Space takes place sometime between 2071 and 2119. Earthshock in the beginning of the Orion Cyber Wars is 2526. Tomb of the Cybermen is 2570. Revenge of the Cybermen is 2875. And then Real Time 3286.
That's far.
Which is still pretty far. But the whole theme of this is, of not just actually the story, but of the Seventh Doctor's run, is one of mystery. Who is the Doctor? Where does he come from? Ace says, hey, I know he's a Time Lord, and Lady Peinforte's like, he's not just a Time Lord.
Everyone knows that.
Yeah, he's not just a Time Lord. Why don't you tell him about the old times, Doctor, she says. And those mysteries never were solved. Well, at least not anytime recent, and not anytime at that point.
I got it. I know.
Because the series was canceled the next year.
I know what he is.
What do you think he is?
in the past before he took the TARDIS, I think he was a galactic criminal.
You think he was a criminal?
Yeah.
Maybe. I mean, that would explain why he wants to hide his past. But we don't really have that answer. But it will show up again during the 11th Doctor's run. You know, where he's asked Doctor Who, what is the name of the Doctor? But anyways, let's put our thinking caps on, our thinking cyber caps on, like that. Andrew, what are we going to rate Silver Nemesis?
3.7.
3.7. You really like your 3-point scale, eh? You don't really go above 4 very often.
You just have to find the right one.
Okay, I'll agree with that. We're going to rate Silver Nemesis 3.7 Cybermats out of 5. So next episode, Andrew, we are jumping forward in time almost 20 years to the 10th Doctor, to the reintroduction of the Cybermen into the modern series.
When was this episode released?
This one, 1988.
No, like the next one.
2006.
18 years!
Yeah. To the reintroduction of the Cybermen into the new series. And we're going to be covering a 2-parter. It's Rise of the Cybermen and the Age of Steel. Looking forward to that, eh?
Ooh.
Cool.
Thank you for watching our video. How many Cybermans would you give this? Like and subscribe. And would you like to say anything? No? Okay. That's okay.
See you next time.